6 quarterbacks went in the top 12. And in all honesty, I think we all expected 6 potentially to go in the top 32, but they just wanted to give us the breathing room. That is insane to see that many quarterbacks go that fast. And in all honesty, I think the NFL, when we see 6 quarterbacks go in the top 12, they see the 2025 quarterback class as relatively weak. Unless you are a football sicko like me, who likes to watch college football year-round and NFL year-round, you know this, that Shedeur Sanders is probably the best quarterback in that class as of right now. And that class in general is relatively weak because it's unproven. Shedeur doesn't have these elite amount of tools, but he's handling adversity at Colorado and he's pinpoint accurate. Carson Beck is driving a Lamborghini and he's just one of the quarterbacks of all time, to be honest. On top of the fact you have Quinn Ewers, who is all the talent in the world. He could literally be the next Matt Stafford if he really wanted to, but he hasn't put it all together to be a first-round pick. Then you have guys like Jackson Dart, DJU, Cameron Ward, who are all older quarterbacks that have a lot of talent but are inconsistent. Then you have Jalen Milroe, who is the rawest prospect, but he has all the arm talent, all the speed. You see where I'm getting at? You just have a lot of uncertainty, and I think the NFL saw that. And it's going to be fascinating when we see from 365 days from today what that class is going to look like, because in all honesty, it could be completely flipped on its head in just a year's time. But let's get into today's topic when we're diving into what happened in 2024, because 6 quarterbacks went in the top 12. Like I said, that's insane. But we got to factor in the situations and what I think of them as players to really get a better understanding of why I'm ranking these guys the way that I am. But before we dive in, thank you guys for giving me a shot. If it's your first time here, welcome. But if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Leave a comment, leave a like, something for the algorithm one time, and let's go ahead and dive in. At number 6, I have Michael Penix Jr. I didn't expect the NFL to be that high on him. You had teams like the Saints, the Seahawks, I believe it was also the Raiders that wanted to trade up into the top 10 to get him. And the reason why I have him so low is A, I was lower on Michael Penix to begin with. I thought he would have been a great value pick in the second round. Now it's clear that he would have never even sniffed the second round. But even with that being said, the Falcons. Don't be mad at Michael Penix. The dude just got drafted to the NFL. I'm so happy for him. Expecting him to be the Jordan Love effect and do that method, first of all, there's some distinct differences that everyone has pointed out. The fact that, Aaron Rodgers, when he was on the Packers, he was there for a long time. You just signed Kirk Cousins. He hasn't even played a single snap of football for the Atlanta Falcons. That's a big difference, someone that has some continuity with the organization and knows the ins and outs of what that organization looks like. Maybe you would go with a younger quarterback. I don't know, JJ McCarthy was on the board. It just doesn't make sense. As well, I thought that you were signing Kirk Cousins to go all in. Why wouldn't you just go, load up in the wide receiver room, go get a Rome Odunze? No, you're trying to big brain yourself and think smarter than everyone else in the room. It just baffles me that this is the route that they went. At number 5, I have Bo Nix. In all honesty, I've been a Bo Nix truther. I had him as my Heisman pick, and I was happy that he made it to New York, on top of the fact that I thought he was going to be a first-round pick after last summer. I watched his film, and I saw what Sean Payton saw. The guy is going to be a point guard in that offense, and I think the reason why it was oil and water between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton was because Russ wants to be outside of structure, and he's not built to be a quarterback that goes on time and is doing exactly what the coach wants. Sean Payton just wants a guy that can get the ball exactly where he wants on time with accuracy and basically be a point guard. And that's what Bo Nix is. And the reason why he's at 5 is just because his ceiling is extremely low, but I think it's exactly what, honestly, Sean Payton is going to want. And I just saw a notification they got Troy Franklin. I'm glad they're trying to get some continuity in the wide receiver room. The Broncos, they're going to be solid, but I don't really know if there's a high ceiling with a guy like Bo Nix. At number 4, I have Jaden Daniels. Now, this is more about the pairing between him and the Commanders. And honestly, more about the pairing between him and Cliff Kingsbury. I think it's going to have success early on, but over time, I don't know if it's going to work. I think people see the mobility of Jaden Daniels and assume it's just going to work with the history of Cliff Kingsbury. But in all honesty, the simplicity of the offense. Now, I completely get it. If Cliff has been able to evolve his offense, he's still a young coach. So, maybe he broke some old habits, but the hitches and the very simple route concepts, as well as the pocket presence from Jaden Daniels, really, I think is going to stall out over time. And I think people see Jahan Dotson, Scary Terry, Brian Robinson, and think this is just automatically going to work, when in all honesty, the big red flag, in my opinion, is that offensive line. And when you have a guy that has pretty low pocket presence and takes a lot of sacks, it concerns me, because analytically, we look at sacks as the same value as an interception, and especially for a young rookie quarterback, a guy that really struggles already to get into rhythm, it concerns me. This is not to say I don't think it can work out. I'm just lower on the fact that I don't know if the chances are as high as people make it out to be. Number 3, I think it's JJ McCarthy with the Vikings. I just think the Vikings was a perfect situation for any quarterback to go to. It would have been a dream situation for a guy like Jaden Daniels, Drake May. And I think, in all honesty, he's not going to have to start right away. And the Alex Smith comparison kind of speaks to me. I think the floor is a lot higher on JJ McCarthy, and I think the ceiling is just slightly lower than people made it out to be. I don't know if the gap is as high. I think there's a lot of unknowns, but to be honest, that offense is incredible, and you have an offensive-friendly head coach. All these factors baked into it as well, you're not going to have to start all the way. You have Sam Darnold there, who's most likely going to start some games, and there's going to be relatively low expectations off rip just because he's a super young quarterback. I think the situation here bolsters him to the number 3 spot, and I'm excited to see what that pairing will do. Just, sign Justin Jefferson. Stop overthinking it. God damn it. And number 2, it's Drake May to the Patriots. Now, you may push back and say, whoa. You just harped on the Commander situation. It clearly is better than the Patriots. Now, hold on. Take a minute. Take a deep breath with me. All right. Now, they get Keon Coleman. I like that pick. Honestly, I do like that pick a lot. And I think, honestly, the Commanders are going to have a relatively solid defense, just like the Patriots are going to have a really solid defense with Gerard Mayo. They just got Keon Coleman. And in all honesty, I think Drake May, the talent and what I value him as a quarterback, he was my second best quarterback, and I thought he was way closer to Caleb Williams than he was to Jaden Daniels at the QB3. And I think we're really splitting hairs here. I think that the situation, though it's not perfect with the Patriots, I think it has a lot more opportunity to be really solid with a really good offensive line. I think they're going to rely on the running game very early, and I think Drake May could have some success early on, and they're going to give him the breathing room. Now, it's really on the Patriots from this point forward to continuously give him weapons. They still need an extra amount of juice, but I was high on Keon Coleman, and I think this will end up working out. And at number 1, it's Caleb Williams. And I think the question really begins, what should be the expectation for him? Because you've already pissed off a lot of fans with the Justin Fields thing, even though I think it's ridiculous. He has a massive target on his back. I'm fascinated to see how he responds to it. And he seems to be having fun with it. He seems to be leaning into the fact that people think he's weird, which is ridiculous that people think that. But, it's a crazy world we live in. And then you get Rome Odunze, who is basically the insurance to Keenan Allen, who, if Keenan Allen takes a step back, you have Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. I'm lower on DeAndre Swift, but that's still some bursts in the running back room. An offensive line that is underrated, a defense that was top 10 for the back half of last season. And even if the defense miraculously takes a step back and isn't as good, that could be the focus for the following year, because guess what? You have a rookie quarterback. You basically have a 3 to 4 year timeline with one of the most talented quarterbacks we've seen in a very long time to go for a Super Bowl. The Bears, I think this is potentially a better team than the 2018 one, and it's probably the best one we've seen in 15 years. But let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Leave a like, leave a comment, something for the algorithm one time, and I will see you guys next time.